Rock thought she won by breaking me, but I turned my pain into power. Part 1. The beginning of trust. Her name was Rock, or at least, that's what everyone called her. She was my best friend, my anchor, the one person I thought I could trust blindly. We had been inseparable since high school. She was bold, fiery, the type who walked into a room and demanded attention without saying a word. Me, I was softer. I believed in loyalty, kindness, in standing behind the people I loved. Maybe that's why I never saw the knife in her hand until it was already in my back. We had dreams of building a business together, something that combined her fearless personality with my quiet determination. I thought we were partners, but Rock, she thought of me as competition. Part 2. The betrayal. The betrayal wasn't sudden. It was carefully planned. We had pitched our business idea to an investor, months of sleepless nights, designs, and strategies. On the day of the presentation, I walked in ready to stand by her side. But when the lights dimmed and the projector started, I realized my name was nowhere on the slides. It was only Rock. Her name, her face, her credit. She had stolen everything we built together and presented it as if I had never existed. The investor shook her hand, congratulated her, and signed the deal. I stood in the shadows, humiliated. She looked at me and smirked, as if to say, I don't need you anymore. And just like that, Rock walked out of my life with my dream in her hands. Part 3. Broken and forgotten. The weeks after felt like drowning. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Everywhere I went, people whispered about her success. My phone stayed silent. No one reaching out. It felt like the whole world had chosen her, and I was left in the ruins. She paraded her new life on social media. Luxury dinners, fancy cars, parties with the same investor I once trusted. She flaunted her victory. And I was the failure, the forgotten friend. But in that silence, something inside me shifted. Pain has a strange way of turning into fire. Part 4. The rise from ashes. I realized if Rock could steal my dream, then she wasn't the reason for my failure. I was. Because I had let her define me. So, I picked myself up. I started small, freelancing, building websites, managing projects, learning skills I never thought I needed. While she flaunted her temporary success, I worked in silence. Months turned into years. Slowly, I built my own business. Not the one Rock had stolen, but something better, something uniquely mine. Clients came, then investors, then recognition. I didn't just rebuild, I transformed. Part 5. Tables turned one day. Fate delivered the sweetest irony. Rock's company had started crumbling. The investors realized she didn't have the discipline to sustain what she had stolen. Her reckless spending, her arrogance, It all caught up to her. And when her biggest client left her, they came to me. I still remember the look on her face when she walked into the boardroom and saw me sitting at the head of the table. The same table she once pushed me away from. Her smile faltered. For the first time, she was the one standing in the shadows. Part 6. The final confrontation. After the meeting, she cornered me. "You think you've won?" she hissed. I looked at her calmly and said, "No, Rock. I didn't think of it as winning. I just turned the pain you gave me into power. You tried to break me, but all you did was force me to become stronger." She had no reply, because she knew it was true. Part 7. The sweetest revenge. Now, when people talk about Rock, they mention her downfall, her arrogance, her betrayal, her failure. When they talk about me, they talk about resilience, strength, and success. She thought she won the day she broke me. But victory wasn't hers to keep, because I turned my pain into power, and in the end, that power became my greatest revenge. Part 8. Living in her shadow. For a long time after Rock's betrayal, I couldn't escape her shadow. Everywhere I turned, her face was there. Billboards, interviews, magazine covers. She was celebrated as a self-made woman, the genius who built an empire from nothing. No one knew that her empire was built from my blood, sweat, and tears. At night, I replayed the betrayal in my head. The way she erased my name from our presentation. The smirk when she shook hands with the investor. The coldness in her eyes that once promised friendship but now screamed victory. Some nights, I wanted to call her, to scream, to demand an apology. But deep inside, I knew apologies from Rock would never come. And so, I did the only thing left for me. I started again. Alone. Part 9. The road of fire. Starting again wasn't easy. I took jobs people laughed at. I worked in cafes during the day, coded late at night, and studied business strategies when everyone else was asleep. There were days I cried from exhaustion. Days I questioned if it was worth it. But something inside me refused to give up. Because every time I thought of quitting, I remembered her smirk. I remembered her saying with her silence, "You're nothing without me." And I swore I would prove her wrong. Part 10. Small sparks, big flames. The first breakthrough came unexpectedly. A small local business hired me to redesign their website. I poured everything into it, treated it like it was my masterpiece. Word spread. Soon, another company reached out. Then another. Within a year, I wasn't just surviving. I was running my own small firm. No investors, no flashy contracts. Just honest, hard work. By the second year, I hired my first employee. Then 5. Then 10. And as my team grew, so did my reputation. People no longer asked, "Aren't you Rock's friend?" They asked, "Are you the one behind that incredible company?" I was no longer living in her shadow. I was creating my own light. Part 11. Cracks in her kingdom. While I was rising, Rock's empire began to crumble. Her arrogance grew faster than her skills. She spent investor money on luxury cars, mansions, and extravagant parties. Her employees left, one by one, tired of being mistreated. The media that once praised her started to whisper, was she really the genius she claimed to be? The investors, the same ones she had stolen from me to impress, were getting nervous. They needed stability, credibility, someone who could actually deliver results. And that's when fate brought her back into my orbit. Part 12. The meeting of fate. I'll never forget the moment. I was invited to a high-stakes board meeting with a multinational company. It was a contract that could change my future forever. When I walked into the room, there she was. Rock, dressed in her finest suit, makeup flawless, but the fire in her eyes was dimmer now. Her jaw dropped when she saw me sitting at the head of the table, introduced as the CEO of my own thriving company. The investors listened as I spoke, as I laid out plans, strategies, solutions. And when I finished, they didn't look at her. They looked at me. For the first time, she was invisible. Part 13. The collapse. Days later, news broke that Rock's company had gone bankrupt. The investors pulled out. Her empire collapsed. And the same media that once glorified her now mocked her. She disappeared from the spotlight. The world forgot her as quickly as it had celebrated her. And me? I kept climbing. Part 14. The final confrontation. One rainy evening, years later, she showed up at my office. No cameras, no arrogance. Just Rock. The woman who once thought breaking me was her victory. Her voice trembled. I lost everything. I thought destroying you would make me stronger, but it only made me weaker. You became what I could never be. I studied her. This was the same woman who stole my dream, my trust, my years. And now she stood before me, broken. Rock, I said softly, you didn't break me. You built me. The pain you caused became the fire that forged me. You thought you won, but all you did was teach me how to win without you. She lowered her eyes. For once, Rock had no comeback. No smirk, no power, only silence. Part 15. My victory. I didn't humiliate her. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Because true revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's standing tall while your betrayer crumbles under the weight of their own choices. She thought she won by breaking me. But in the end, it was my pain that became my power. And my power became my victory. Check mark. Ending lesson. Betrayal doesn't define you. Your response to it does. Sometimes. The people who try to bury you are the ones who unknowingly plant your roots deeper.